Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. Once again, this is your host, Iggy. And in order to increase subscriptions, I'm going to film this today without any pants on. So, yikes. So, let's begin, okay? Because it's getting cold in here. First up is a 40th anniversary G.I. Joe dress uniform. And the set was numbered 25. It was somewhat of a limited offering in that it was only available through the G.I. Joe Collectors Club. And Hasbro and the Collectors Club got together to do this one, number 25, and also set number 23, which was an action soldier. And I believe there's an image of it on the back here. Yeah, there we go. Can you guys see that? The set came with an e-tool pack, a field jacket, cartridge belt, rifle, and a helmet. So that's a great set. Unfortunately, they sell for over $200 on eBay. I did see one for 149.99, but that's still pretty pricey. Too much for Iggy. Now, Hasbro originally in the 60s released action pilots with two different flight suits. One being this one here, which is called Marigold or Yellow. I believe it was described as Marigold. And the other one, which was, I think, more common, was orange. This is the color that I have on my original G.I. Joe. It's pretty faded now because of, well, it's been, 60 years? Yeah, 60 years. Anyway, the packaging with the 40th anniversary Joes, of course, is very pleasing. It has images from their sales brochure from 1964, which they also made available to kids who signed up for the G.I. Joe Collectors Club. Although I don't think they called it Collectors Club. It was just the G.I. Joe fan club. That's it. And here is now G.I. Joe in late 2004 lost confidence in the 40th anniversary. And this is set number 22, which was never released. Then followed by the G.I. Joe Collectors Club 23, and so on and so forth. And there's set number 24, which was not released. And number 29, 28, 27, and 26. Now, they did release set number 30 through the J.C. Penney catalog. And I think I bought a couple of those. And it was snowshoes with a white pack and so on. And would have gone very well with this set here. But of course, they didn't make that available. So it's kind of disappointing that we weren't able to get those sets. They look like good sets. Now, there's a backstory to this one. It's a triumph and a tragedy at the same time. You know how all of us like to get a deal. Well, guys, I got a terrific deal on this. These sell on eBay for about $150. I saw one, pardon me. I saw one that sold for $210 on eBay. Now, I don't know if they are getting those prices, but they're being offered at those high prices. Anyway, so why did I mention this as a triumph and a tragedy? Well, the backstory of this is I bought this on eBay. The starting bid was $25 with free shipping. Well, nobody else bid on it. I was the only one who bid on it. It was incredible. And I got it for $25 and free shipping. And I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic deal. You know how when you get a great deal, you crow like a cock on a heap of poop. Well, I was real happy until I found out that the guy was selling off his collection because his wife was dying and he needed money to pay hospital expenses. It cost $25 to ship it to me. So basically, this guy gave me this. So what felt like a triumph turned into a tragedy. And actually, to this day, it still makes me feel bad. And now when I look back on it, I wish I had sent him at least the shipping money, for God's sake, because I know I can't brag about, I don't want to brag about this one. Anyway, there it is, the 25th in a series, and it's the dress uniform. Now, I had this as a kid. My mom agreed to get me this because it didn't have a gun. Mom, like I've mentioned many times, Mom didn't like guns. You know what? You guys need to meet my mom. Would you like to see my mom? Here's a picture of my mom when she was elderly. There she is. And that's Kelly. And when Mom passed away, Kelly became my dog. So there's Mom. Okay, so let's continue. And we're going to go down here to, let me sit down because my back hurts. Oh, I don't know what I sat on, but I hope it's okay. This is the Marine Medic. And like I pointed out in my last video, this is wrong. The Marines didn't have medics. It was the Army that had medics. So this should have been released under the Action Soldier. And the Navy, God, you can tell I just woke up. Ate breakfast, and I'm sitting here in my underwear filming this, so I feel kind of weird. Anyway, hopefully I get more subscribers by doing that. I subscribed to Bella's Toy Chest. I was number 17. She has like 27,000 now because she's always filming in such a way to show her assets, and she has quite large assets. And she'll film her videos wearing an apron, and that's all. So that's one of the reasons she gets a lot of subscribers. So I'm going to do it in my underpants, see if I get subscribers. And all joking aside, if you're new and haven't enlisted in the Iggy Army, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell, say if you liked it or not, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Now, this set I had as a boy, because of course it's non-threatening. And I still have the, like I mentioned last time, I still have the stretcher, although it's faded on one side. I don't know how that happened because it's always been in a foot locker, so that's kind of weird. I have the crutch still, the bag, and one armband. So it's a mystery what happened. I do remember throwing out the flag. I don't know why I didn't like that. But the stethoscope and the plasma and bandages, of course, disappeared, and I don't remember how that happened. Anyway, the Marines had what you call Navy Corpsmen, and the Navy Corpsmen, believe it or not, were formed in 1898 by President McKinley. Remember, we used to have a Mount McKinley, but someone decided to, change that. Anyway, it was in 1898. The Army Medics, I think, were formed in 1775. The Continental Congress appointed a Surgeon General, but they didn't become like official until 1917, which I thought was interesting. Now, during World War II, if you were wounded and you made it to the aid station, you had a really good chance of surviving. However, like during the Civil War, where most of the nursing was done by volunteers, although my ancestor, I think, was a nurse, um, it wasn't quite the same. And most things were solved by just cutting off. What happens if you got wounded in the head? Did they cut your head off? I don't know. I don't think I'd want to get wounded back in those days. With that soft lead bullet, it hits the bone, smashes everything into pieces. No, thank you. That's why they didn't just willy nilly cut off limbs. They had to because the bone was shattered. And acted like shrapnel within the body. So it was pretty gruesome. Anyway, so this should have been a Navy corpsman. And, but that's neither here nor there. When we were kids, it was fun to set it up and make different scenes and whatnot. Now, the next one up is of a minesweeper. And it comes in a window coffin box, well, not really a coffin box, because coffin box has a lid, but this is a window box. And it has a little metal disc that you would sweep the wand over. And in this case, I don't think it lights up. Wait, can you guys see that? Is that my vision or is it out of focus? I thought it automatically focused. As with one of the newer Joes, however, this Joe is superior to the Joe that they released in 1995, the body anyway. It's more articulated. Comes with a helmet. He's got a canteen, a belt. Now, having a minesweeper is a great idea and saves lives because not only do you find the mine so that your vehicles or men don't step on it, but you don't have to use a bayonet to find it, which could also set a mine off. Why is that not focusing? Here, I'm going to set it down. Okay, and it was developed by Polish engineers, I think in 1942 or something like that. I wonder if this is still recording. Yeah, it's still recording. I had a lot of problems. I had to buy a new phone, guys, because my old phone kept shutting off. So hopefully after I'm done with this, I'll find that it's okay. Now, the next one up is PT Boat Commander. This might have been inspired by PT 109, JFK's boat that was hit by a destroyer, cut in half. And most of the men, when it got hit, they fell off or jumped off. There was one guy who was below who actually survived, but he was burned pretty badly because there was an explosion. But the movie PT 109 starring Cliff Robertson came out in 1963, and John F. Kennedy, he wasn't assassinated yet. He saw the movie. He said, "Oh, I thought it was great, but it was too long." So let's open her up and take a look at our PT Boat Commander. There's a couple movies made about PT boats. One, I think in 1945 or 46, called a movie by John Ford called what was it called? They Were Expendable. And it's a movie, I think, that takes place in the Philippines or the Battle for the Philippines. And then there was In Harm's Way, which also starred John Wayne. and it was based, I think, on the 3rd PT Boat Squadron or something like. Guys, it's been so long since I've seen it that I can't recall now. But why is my hand shaking? Okay, it comes with a flare gun, a knife, a Thompson machine gun, an authentic looking Mae West jacket, although the ties might not be too correct. But of course, he has his naval cap. It's a nice figure. And I have 2 of these because I would always buy 2 sets, one to open and one for display. And then if I could, I would buy one on clearance to sell later, which turned out to be a disaster. I got no money for them when I sold like 50 of them at the flea market. The next one up is Tuskegee Airmen. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting a veteran of Tuskegee Airmen at a Civil War event held in Huntington Beach, California. I think the Huntington Beach event was organized by Cowboy Carl. You've heard me speaking of Cowboy Carl. He was very involved in the Civil War movement, or actually reenactment movement. And, he also does things like Toys for Tots, and he's a Marine Corps veteran. His brother worked for Ultimate Soldier. Can you imagine how great that would be? All the stuff that he took home, and he gave it to, he wasn't, I don't, his brother's name was Heath. I don't think Heath collected much, but he gave him to Cowboy Carl. So Cowboy Carl was very fortunate. I'm friends with Heath. Well, sort of. I don't see him except maybe once every blue moon, but he's a super great guy, as is Cowboy Carl. Now, Tuskegee Airmen. I met him at a Huntington Beach Civil War event, and the guy was joking around me. He said he's the only airman to ever be wounded in the foot. I guess the Germans were throwing up a lot of flak, and it went through the bottom of his plane, and he got wounded severely in the foot. Anyway, he was a cool guy. It was nice to have met him. The Tuskegee Airmen, they were in Africa and Sicily and Italy. They also flew attacks against Germany, and they shot down 3 Me 262s. And the way they would do that is because the Me 262 was so fast, they would give it a really big lead, and to all intents and purposes, the pilot would fly into the rounds being thrown at him, and that's how they got shot down. So the American pilots started to figure out how to do that. Now the Tuskegee, they started out with the P-40 Warhawk, and then they had the P-47. What was the P-47? A Thunderbolt? And then they ended up with the P-51 Mustang, which outclassed the German Messerschmitt. You got to be careful when you say that, guys, because somebody might think you need to take a messy shit. All right, I'm kind of immature. I'm sorry. Now the bomber pilots, what you see here, they flew a B-25 Mitchell. I did get a chance at an air show in Van Nuys, California, to go inside of a B-25, so that was kind of cool. But the B-25 was the plane used by the Tuskegee Airmen, but they didn't see much action, if any. Towards the end of the war, they didn't need as many bomber pilots because the Germans just didn't have the planes to put up in the sky anymore. The artwork for this is fantastic. It's very natural and realistic. And on the inside of the box, there's, look at that, guys. Why am I shaking like this? This is very serious. Anyways, sorry to complain. There, that's a little better. And look at, this guy is too cool. So it comes with the slouch hat, and the reason why they would take the what did they call it? There was a support in the cap that went all around the edge there, and they would take that out so they could, a crusher cap. Took me a while to think of that. And I'm shaking again. Let me do this. And the reason they would do that is so that the headphones would fit more easily on their head. But it's a nice figure. I used to have a couple of these and a couple of the pilots. I think I sold all of them except this one, which I found in storage. All right, guys, let's hope that this works. My other camera would shut off the audio at this point, so let's hope that this worked for you. That's all I got for you. I'm going to put my pants back on because none of you subscribed. And it's a little chilly. Maybe that's why I'm shaking. I'm embarrassed. That's all I got for you. This is Iggy's Toy Parade signing out. You guys take care of each other. And remember to have fun. If you still have your mom didn't throw your G.I. Joes out or sell them in a garage sale, dig them out. Set them up. Have some fun, guys. There's no reason why you can't. Unless you have a girlfriend. Then she goes, you're so immature. A man is supposed to watch baseball, smoke cigars, and drink beer, not play with G.I. Joe. And at that point, you kick her out the door. All right, guys, take care. This is Iggy signing out. Bye now.